Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of our pilot series. Just for clarification, our pilot series means that you can still see the kitchen, and my boss, she's 5'5" and very powerful, wants the kitchen hid. So after the kitchen's hid, we can start our official launch. Before that, they're pilots. But besides that today, what I'd like to talk to you about is the Todd case. It's a very sad story. We've been seeing a lot of this in the news lately. We've been seeing a lot of it in the news since the unfortunate incident in which she took her life. The news reports that we're seeing today are speaking about a gentleman out of the Netherlands, that the 35-year-old male that was just arrested in connection with the bullying charges and cyberbullying charges against, or that Amanda Todd alleged happened. That's why she killed herself. And in her story, she was coerced into flashing her breasts. And then she was blackmailed into doing more and more and more, and the stress and the consequences of this, where she eventually took her life. A terrible story. And the stories we're seeing now with the arrests, and if the gentleman is guilty, I hope he spends a very long time in jail after he goes through his due process. But a couple of things first come to mind. Number one, I can't for the life of me figure out what would make somebody do something like this. So I struggle with that. And that's a philosophical debate that I could go on with forever. Why is somebody this detached from humanity that they could do this to a young girl when their role as an adult is to protect them? And there's a belief out there that bullying might somehow be reduced, or that this might have an effect on bullying in general across our society. As wonderful as that would be, I don't see that. I don't see how that could happen. The reason being is that bullying is absolutely ingrained in our entire society throughout it, and interconnected like a matrix of webs. We were talking last year, we were hearing on the news about the RCMP spokesman lady in British Columbia, again not far from Amanda Todd, who she didn't commit suicide, but she had a nervous breakdown, and she had to quit the police force, and she was suffering PTSD because of all the sexual abuse, the innuendo, and the demeaning way she was treated. We had several other officers come forward. We just recently had a couple incidents in the States. We had a report come out that a Canadian in Paris was just sexually assaulted by 4 police officers at police headquarters in Paris. Like, if that's not unbelievable enough for you. And also we have our Minister of Defense and Chief of Defense Staff, Tom Larson, coming out right now speaking about allegations of sexual misconduct and innuendo and fraternization and everything else within the Canadian military. Well, if women in particular, and I chose these organizations to talk about in particular because, women are being assaulted and molested and raped and demeaned in all organizations across North America. I don't care if you're in McDonald's or working for Petro-Canada or Exxon or Esso, or working with a government agency or a military. It doesn't matter who you're working for. If you're a female, and in a lot of cases if you're black, any of these minorities or groups where European descent white males believe that they're lesser than, you will be demeaned. And this is still rampant throughout our society. Regardless of how people speak one-on-one, groupthink, especially behind business doors and locked doors at office, is still a very patriarchal behavior based on European male domineering traits. And this has been pushed down to our society. We're teaching it to children. This is a society that Now, there will be people out there that will say that the rule of thumb was actually part of British common law. I don't believe that was ever the case. But it was certainly accepted that a male could lash or beat his wife or children with a switch or a stick that was not larger than the diameter of his thumb. Okay, it was never a law, but it was well accepted. And I'm a big guy. I have a big thumb. The bigger the guy, the bigger the thumb, the bigger the beating. I mean, this was the way things were working. It's a ridiculous concept. I mean, we had this concept in our society right up into the 90s, before corporal punishment was eradicated in Canada, in schools. Within churches, corporal punishment was taking place well up into the new millennia, especially in the Catholic churches. And this type of domineering, lashing, control-centered way of thought is designed as a system of indoctrination, and for the males it's to be on top, and for the females it's to be subservient, which of course is ridiculous, because I don't know a man out there one-on-one who's not frightened to death of his wife or his girlfriend. But when you put them together in a group, they're able to step on their necks. And we can't do anything without our mothers. Our mothers are everything. And Amanda Todd, had she been left alone one day, would have grown into a beautiful lady who probably would have become a mother and been able to share her love with our future generations. But of course, that's no longer going to happen. If we are going to avoid bullying, and if we are going to fix the problems that we're having within our society, where women are being demeaned and treated in the manner they are, and they are half of us, or more than half of us. Without them, we are not whole. We are literally destroying our better half, our conscience. I mean, if men like to believe that, the world likes to believe that men have a conscience, and some men do. I like to believe that I do. But it's hard to believe that a 22-year-old male with a rifle in his hand is experiencing much lashback from his conscience while he's firing 50 cal rounds down across the Iraqi desert. Okay? Now, he might experience that consciousness later on when he gets home. And then, of course, it'll probably manifest itself in the form of PTSD, and he become a burden and a trouble to just everybody in his life. But at the time when we need him to most understand, when he's the most powerful because he's a young, vibrant, healthy male, that's when it's easiest for us to mold him into a warrior and take away his heart. And when we do that throughout society, not just in militaries, but throughout our patria society, through our churches, through our schools, through everything else, we breed men, not all of them, a lot of very caring men out there, very loving men, but this society allows us to breed men that don't understand love and become predators. And this is the type of things they do. I mean, there are women predators, but let's face it, there are much less of them than there are male predators. And that's because we're trained and taught very differently from birth. Okay? And the bullies that we have out there today are created by the people who they had in their lives. So it's not enough just to get the children. You have to get the adults, because when the children go home, the stuff that we're trying to reinforce is being counter-enforced by bad influences. In order for us to eradicate bullying, especially bullying against females, we need to teach our society the importance of a female. And more importantly, we need for the females out there, and I'm speaking directly to you guys now, to females, to stop trying to succeed in a male's world. Women's Lib has had this belief for the last 50 years or 100 years that if we could be equal within the man's world, we would have equality. If we could get paid as much as a man within a certain job, or if we could get a job, like say as a fireman or a policeman, that historically have been male jobs, that somehow we will have succeeded as people. No. Ladies, that's not how you succeed. Most of what men have been doing out there for the last couple of millennia is destroy, lie, and deceive. I think it's a throwback to Monty Python. And now it's time for something completely different. I think that it's time for you ladies to look at what you can do to fix what men have destroyed. and to teach the young males and the males that we can teach today, and to help those of us that are willing, that are understanding and conscious of the importance of females in our society, to teach them to respect and love and honor the mother and all the mothers. You know, not just their mother, but any female is a mother, and the potentiality to be one at the very least. And respect all mothers. The ability to destroy and is within the males, but the ability to build is also there. The ability to manage and control and to make proper moving forward decisions lays with the females. People who think that this power lays with the males, all they need to do is take a quick look around, and you will see that the decisions that most males are making are getting us killed at exponential rates and destroying our planet. And it's not the females making these decisions. The females that are involved with this are involved in a male world trying to fit into it. And it's very much like trying to stick a square peg in a round hole. It really doesn't fit. So ladies, take your power back. Come up with something completely different before we destroy your souls and eradicate the human race from the planet through arrogance, ignorance, and negligence. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.